Hey, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from RicoScores. We're going to take a small break from the Commanders today, even though we will talk about Jaden Daniels in this video. But just for anybody, no matter what fan of any NFL franchise that you are, we are here to talk about how scary the future NFL looks right now. There's talks about an 18-game season. There's talks about a lot of international games. We're talking about electronic first downs that will be tested in the preseason. We're talking about virtual reality for quarterbacks to develop. We're going to dive into all of that and more. But before we do, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Y'all know I have everything, your one-stop shop for the Commanders. But if there's anything major like this that's gonna affect everybody, especially the Commanders, I'm gonna also do videos on those and update y'all on those things as well. So this is really your one-stop shop for everything football, especially. So make sure you stay tuned. Make sure you follow all of the social medias, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, all of those daily content there as well. Make sure you check out the shorts on YouTube as well. And without further ado, instead of wasting more of y'all time, let's go ahead and get to this video. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so first of all the way back on April 30th, Mark tweeted, NFL owners in the league might try well ahead of the expiration of the current CBA to get the NFLPA to agree to an 18-game season, y'all, sources say, adding that the owners largely support Roger Goodell's preference for an 18th game. Of course they do. Of course the owners prefer it, obviously. But hey, man, what could go wrong? Added an extra game in this already ridiculously violent sport. We've only been having 17 games in the season for the past couple of years. They're gonna already add an 18th before we even do 17 game seasons for 5 years. So I mean, that's just already crazy. What could go wrong? Well, let's go ahead and break it all the way down. So going to Mark's article with the Washington Post, he said the NFL team owners, and this article was back on April 30th again, NFL team owners largely support Commissioner Roger Goodell's preference for an 18-game regular season. Of course they do. And the league and owners might make a renewed attempt to get the players union to agree to such a lengthening of the season well before the collective bargaining agreement expires after the 2030 season. They want this done well before 2030. It's 2024, so where are they looking? 2026 as soon as that? That's crazy, according to 5 people familiar with the NFL's inner workings and the owners' views. The league and owners have not initiated a new set of formal discussions with the NFL Players Association on the topic, 2 people with knowledge of the matter said. But some owners and league leaders have been contemplating such an effort for months, and Goodell expressed his support for an 18-game season during a broadcast interview last week. Of course he does. All of these guys will make more money because of it. An 18-game season, if implemented, would be accompanied by a reduction of the preseason from 3 to 2 games per team. I mean, I guess that helps a little bit, but I mean, your body doesn't take as much damage in the preseason as it does the NFL. So that is not an equal give and take right there. But I see what they're trying to do. But that's crazy. We would go down to 2 preseason games. I'm assuming we would still only have 1 bye week, even though the NFL does try to give you a Thursday night game sometime like weeks apart from your bye week. So it's kind of like a half bye week sometime later in the season. They try to do things like that, but this is still not good at all. So I know the players and the NFLPA are going to try to push back on this as much as possible, but it's probably inevitable, to be completely honest with you. Now, he also reported that it will probably result in the Super Bowl being played annually on President's Day's weekend. That in turn could lead to a reworking of the offseason schedule in which the league might hold a tentpole event in each month. The NFL Combine in March, free agency in April, and then the draft in May. That's interesting. That would lead to them having at least some significant major event NFL-wise every month, really of the entire year at that point. The owners have sought an 18-game season since the negotiations with the NFLPA that led to the 2011 labor deal, and they have increased the regular season from 16 to 17 games back in 2021. Again, this is only going into our 3rd season of having a 17-game season. They're already talking about upping it to 18. When do we stop? Is 18 the final decision forever, or are they potentially looking at adding 19 in like another 5 5-10 years. And going from 16 games to 17 games, it was implemented in 2021, but it was agreed upon in 2022 when that CBA was done. Continuing with the article, it's not clear how the NFLPA will react to an attempt by the owners to negotiate an 18-game season, though. The current CBA allowed the owners to go to a 17-game season, provided that the number of preseason and regular season games did not exceed 20 per team. But the CBA also says the league and or club shall not increase the number of regular season games per club to 18 or more games. So the NFL and owners will have to convince the NFLPA to agree to such a change, and it's not known what the union might seek in return. If they were to agree to it, there's going to be some heavy negotiations done, I'll tell you that. Thank goodness that the NFLPA even exists, the fact that the players even have a union, because who knows what the NFL would already have conjured up by now if there was not like opposing force that's representing the players and their needs and their preferences. And then the article goes on to say, quote, I strongly believe they will bring something to the NFLPA in the next 12 to 18 months, a person on the players' side said. There's a considerable support among the owners for Goodell's goal to implement an 18-game season. The 5 people with knowledge of the owners' views said in recent months they spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the topic, with possible negotiations between the league and NFLPA pending. Quote, I think we are moving towards 18 games, unquote. A high-ranking official for one team said just before the scouting combine began in late February. Quote, not sure when though, close quote. I mean, this is crazy. This is wow. 18-game season. I joked about it back when they officially made it 17 games starting 2021. I joked about like, well, next thing you know, it'll be 18 games. I never expected it to be this soon. And we'll see when like they would officially agree on it, and then it will actually be implemented. But that's still wild that we're even talking about this within just 3 years of them adding an extra game going from 16 to 17. And then it's also been reported that Jerry Jones specifically, they say a lot of owners support it, Roger Goodell as well, but there's been a report that Jerry Jones has specifically expressed his support for an eventual move to an 18-game regular season. And I'm pretty sure every NFL owner wants to make more money. That may be enough to just get this put into action alone. Everybody just wants to make more money. All of this is always and always will be about money. And then Adam Schefter, which brought this to my attention while I'm talking about it today, May 23rd, yesterday, May 22nd, Adam Schefter on his podcast said, in addition to more streaming and an 18-game season, he said, quote, I think we're going to eventually have one international game for every team per year as well. Whoa, that's groundbreaking as well. Not only are we potentially moving to an additional game per season, but it sounds like, I mean, the NFL's trying to get their NBA on, trying to get their global reach thing going. You know what I'm saying? They've already bullied the NBA out of Christmas. There was like an unspoken rule or whatever it was, or like a, you know, just an unspoken, unwritten agreement that the NFL has Thanksgiving, NBA has Christmas, and the NBA has always been known as the global outreach type of between the two sports. I mean, of course, baseball and soccer, technically football, are already beyond American borders. I mean, those are huge around the world, but then basketball was next up to take over, and they've been doing a great job, especially in Europe. That pipeline there, also a little bit of Africa and things like that, other countries as well, but their real pipeline right now is to Europe. The NFL seems to not only be trying to bogart them out of Christmas, and I mean, they showed that last year. They said, forget the NBA, we're going to have games on Christmas as well. And then the stats showed that the NFL outperformed and outviewed the NBA games that were on that day mightily. It wasn't even really close, which is just scary and crazy. The NFL literally are just the bullies right now. They can do whatever they want to do. And it sounds like with the NBA, I mean, they've been had an initiative to go as global as possible. That's been the NBA thing for several years now, many double-digit years. Now it looks like the NFL's been trying to do it. We've been having occasional games in the UK. Recently, we've been having games in Germany. We're about to start having games, I believe, in Mexico. We had one in Brazil, I believe, last year as well. And now they want to get it to the point where every single NFL franchise has to play at least one game internationally, which is always weird too, because we already have this weird situation with 17 games. You have more home games than away games one season. Then you have more away games than home games the next season. Well, when we get to 18 game season or whatever, and then you have every team playing an international game, I hate how they try to say this one particular team is the home team when neither team is actually the home team. I hate how that counts as like a home game for teams, man. But either way, man, that's crazy. Because so far, my Commanders have completely avoided an international game for a few years now. It's been a while since we've had an international game, and I'm pretty sure a lot of our international fans can't wait for us to come out there, but I'm sure the players are like, man, that travel, and again, that doesn't count as a home game. If you're the away team, whatever, that doesn't take away one of your home, but to be one of the teams that's technically your home game, I'll be pretty frustrated. But of course, I like the fact that the NFL is becoming more global. They're doing a great job with the initiatives that they're taking to where they have like the International Pathway Program, where like the Commanders, we have a player that he's technically like our 91st player on our roster during the offseason. Now, granted, when we get to the regular season, we still have to cut it down to 53, even though I believe that International Pathway Player Program counts as an extra practice squad player if you want him to. But right now, it's like an incentive to NFL teams. If you want to have at least a small advantage over other teams and have 91 players instead of 90, you can only do it by inviting an international player to join your team. So the NFL has been doing little things step by step to try to get a further global reach out there and things like that. And I guess this is another one. I mean, every team is gonna have to play somewhere outside of America every season. I'm pretty sure a lot of teams are going to be bidding over Canada. Like, please, Canada, please, Mexico, please. Everybody's going to be fighting for over those, but we'll see how that goes. And again, that's coming from Adam Schefter himself. And what's crazy is, I'm not going to lie, again, with the whole background information that I just gave you just off the top of my head, no real research, I think this is inevitable. I mean, the 18-game season seems inevitable as well, but maybe that will take a little bit longer for the NFLPA to agree to that. But this international thing to where every NFL franchise has to play at least one game out of the country every season, I feel like that's really inevitable, and that's probably going to happen sooner rather than later. Again, that's coming from Adam Schefter himself. Now let's move on to the future part of the NFL. This is where it's getting crazy. These are some of the big changes that are coming to the NFL, some really futuristic ideas. Well, first of all, potential big change. The NFL plans to trial an electronic system for measuring first downs during preseason games. If the trial is successful and receives approval, the tracking system will be fully implemented for the 2024 regular season. So they're about to give us 3 preseason games to test this out, and then if they feel like it went well enough, we're not going to wait till next regular season to do this, or even this postseason. They're going to implement it immediately week 1 of the regular season. That's pretty crazy, man. And they say that the traditional sticks and chain method would then serve as a backup. So that's also pretty interesting. So they'll keep the people there that usually do that, but they'll more so be like a backup in the situation. But yeah, man, let's go to the Yahoo article that's breaking this down. And this article came all the way back in February 29th, where they were given the heads up, hey, the NFL is thinking about testing high-tech optical tracking to measure first downs. This was back in February 29th, again, I mind you. And they said the NFL's use of decidedly low-tech 10-yard chain to measure first downs could be replaced by high-tech optical tracking. The NFL today revealed that a system to measure first downs electronically has been tested, and that the owners will be presented with information about how the test went as the NFL considers the possibility of using the tracker instead of chains. In addition to line to gain rulings, the league is exploring optical tracking with high-resolution cameras along the sidelines, goal lines, and end lines to assist in officiating decisions. The testing has used technology developed by Hawkeye, the computer vision system that assists with video replays in tennis, to precisely determine the position of the ball and players during replay reviews. And that is pretty interesting. Tennis does use some high-tech technology to really tell you where like the ball landed and things like that. That's pretty cool that the NFL is trying to like, okay, that looks like something we could use. Let's try to see if we can dive into that. The NFL believes the technology could potentially be used this season, although it's unlikely the league will be far enough along to rely on it exclusively. So the chains aren't going anywhere just yet, but they could be phased out soon. Again, man, this article was written all the way back on February 29th. So now let's move forward in time. Let's move up to May 21st, as in this past Tuesday. The chain may no longer keep us together. The NFL is moving forward this preseason with an optical tracking system for the line to gain ruling, source tells CBS Sports. The system has been tried out in a few NFL stadiums this past season, and it will get a full preseason trial this summer. This is crazy. We already have the new kickoff rules. This is going to just look like, I mean, what is this sport I'm even watching? Is this still the NFL? Like, that's going to be drastically different. We had all of the different rulings on like the hip drop tackle that has been being brought over from rugby. They're trying to get rid of that. I mean, there's just so many changes this offseason that are happening at once. And then you throw on top of all of that I just gave you, plus more, and then you're also throwing in futuristic technology like this where we will no longer see like the chain guys on the sideline. Well, they'll probably be there, but they may not be relied upon primarily right now. And then eventually, if they learn to trust the software, maybe over the course of like a season or two, and then they're fully confident in it, then the chain gang is gone completely. If the trial goes well and everyone's on board, the tracking system will be implemented full-time for the 2024 NFL regular season. That is crazy. In March, the NFL's competition committee quietly approved its use across all teams in the preseason. But before the league fully implements it for the full season, it wants to make sure the system works well enough to be trusted. I mean, just imagine if there's a glitch in the system. You know how many people just hack anything? You know how people like hack traffic warnings, like the little signs, and change the words on it? I'm really afraid of the possibility here. Anytime when we rely on technology too much, I'm always afraid of what the possibilities are. Of course, this is higher ceiling, but this is also a lower floor as well. This is like a boom or bust situation here, where this could be great, but this could also go terrible. Right now, where we currently are is kind of in the middle, just kind of chilling. You know, you make the mistakes, and I'm gonna show y'all a compilation of some ref mistakes soon. I'm just gonna show you the pictures just to remind you of how bad the refs have been with this sort of thing, which is why they're trying to implement this. But this middle of the road that we've been going has been all right. It's worked thus far. I mean, granted, history will probably be different if we have more accurate officiating, especially when it came to first downs and things like that. But generally, we've been doing all right. This has the potential to be better, but this can also have the potential to be worse. We'll see, though. I'm pretty sure they're going to have backups on backups in situations. And I would hope that they might as well just go ahead and keep the chain people out there for forever. First of all, that's just more jobs for people to have. I mean, the NFL, you got the money, so you don't have to worry about that. But also, just in case, again, the technology gets hacked, there's a glitch. I mean, we see random things like escalators and elevators randomly malfunction. What happens if that happens here? I mean, that's not like somebody's safety is in danger necessarily, but it could mess up the result of a game. So I am worried about all of that. Now, the article goes on to say that all game footballs are microchipped and have been for years, but this technology doesn't employ the chip and instead relies entirely on optical tracking. The system, which was used at MetLife Stadium and Hard Rock Stadium last year, would need to be installed across all 30 NFL stadiums as well as any international stadium where NFL games are played. And of course, just in case if you don't know, the reason they say 30 stadiums, not 32, remember the Rams and the Chargers share a stadium, and then the Jets and the Giants also share a stadium, just to remind y'all of that. But I thought that was really interesting because they do already have chips in the football, but like they're not going to rely on the chips for first. Now, what happens if you can't see? Like, it doesn't matter how much optical tracking you have. What if you can't see? What if there's a pile? You know, the refs blow the whistle and everybody's still falling forward. Like, who knows where the ball is exactly and things like that. So I think it's going to get a little muddy. There's definitely some gray areas here that they're going to have to buff out. We'll see how it goes. If the system works, it would make for a far more accurate measuring system that reduces the amount of human error, which is the goal, but let's see it actually implemented and see how it actually works out. If the league sees there are problems such as latency issues in the preseason, the move can be tabled until 2025 with the chain crew continuing to do the same job as always. So again, make sure when you're watching these preseason games, you notice how this works. They're going to rely on this optical tracking for the preseason, and we'll see if there are any errors. I mean, it's preseason, so the games don't count. It doesn't matter, but I'm pretty sure there's going to be some frustrated players and coaches out there and fans when some things just don't go right. And now here's just a quick compilation of some of the worst chain calls of all time in the NFL, man. Let this please be the end of this foolishness right here. I mean, we've been through some bad times, man. Y'all remember these, man. I mean, they brought out the index card. That sometimes it's just been blatant. The chain has broke sometimes, and now they're just stuck because of that. You have inaccurate measurements. You have people that can't even, it's been so many stupid foolishness situations where it's just like there's no way this is a $1 billion industry making these silly mistakes right now. But either way, we're gonna go ahead and move on from that. Next up, now let's talk about this German virtual reality technology that quarterbacks are taking advantage of right now to pretty much expedite their development. Well, just to let you know, Jaden Daniels, when he first started using, and this is our Commanders quarterback from LSU, started working with the AI program called Cognilyze The first time that he used it, the week of the Mississippi State game, he went out there and went 30 for 34 for 361 yards and 2 touchdowns with a pair of drops too versus the Bulldogs. Just to let you know, like, this technology has been very effective. A lot of people give that a lot of the credit for why Jayden Daniels has developed as fast as he did. What does it do? The system creates an immersive game-like environment for quarterbacks, allowing them to practice decision-making skills in realistic scenarios. Just to let you know, like, they literally have virtual players coming at you, like a virtual defense. It even gets so detailed as to, like, they have the clock, like the play clock, at a certain spot in the stadium as if it's real life, so that the quarterback, while they're practicing all week, they know exactly where to look at when they're trying to, hurry up the offense, make sure they, hike the ball before the play clock goes out. It's like a lot of very specific, detailed things to help a quarterback's development. But also, you have a guy like Jayden Daniels who used to practice it to read defenses and executing plays at a fraction of a second. Like, he's literally using the virtual reality at a speed that's faster than actual real life game speed, so that when he gets into games, he's like, this is easy. I mean, granted, virtual players versus real players, the virtual players can't hurt you. But at the same time, when he gets into real games, because he's been practicing with the virtual helmet, say for example at like 1.5 or 2 times speed, when he gets into a real game, I mean, reading defenses almost feels easier. He's like, okay, I mean, this guy's moving in slow motion compared to what my processing and eyes are used to as of right now. And the founders of the technology even ask LSU for like their defensive playbook so they can come up with real defensive schemes and things like that. Cover 2, cover 3, Tampa 2, things like that. So it's crazy. And literally, again, Jayden Daniels is practicing at a faster speed than real life, so his mental processing was able to speed up pretty quick this past season for LSU. And it's only been getting better for him. I think it's definitely going to help his leap going from college to the NFL. And again, a lot of people give this technology a lot of credit, but Jayden Daniels is ascension really from LSU last season, 2022 season to 2023. Even though my Georgia Bulldogs, he killed us in the SEC championship in the 2022 season. So I was already aware, okay, watch out for this Jayden Daniels guy going into 2023. But still, he took a pretty big leap. And just to let you know, yes, this is very new. So new that Jayden Daniels was actually like the guinea pig for this. Like, they would literally test things with Jayden Daniels, ask for feedback, and then make whatever changes or updates were necessary that Jayden preferred, like, himself. So not only is this technology great for Jayden Daniels, but it's also tailored to him and his preferences, and tailored to whatever he needs to work on the most. But I'm pretty sure if another NFL franchise buys it, which I'm pretty sure they would, why wouldn't you? Then they could adjust it to accommodate for whatever quarterback they have as well. But right now, the system is literally the Jayden Daniels system right now, because he was literally the guinea pig for it. And also, if y'all remember, I dedicated like an entire 10-15 minutes breaking down this virtual reality technology, where it came from, who the founders are, and things like that. But so if you really want like a deeper breakdown of where it came from, who did it, how it works, and things like that, go check out my video where I did like a whole breakdown on Jayden Daniels' weaknesses and strengths from like months ago. But long story short, it really helped him with a lot of mental and nuanced aspects of the sport. And I said back then that I would be surprised if Josh Harris does not bring that technology over here with him if we draft Jayden Daniels or anybody. And then there you go. Josh Harris has gone and purchased the technology, and I'm not surprised, because Josh Harris has already shown that he will spend every dollar necessary to give this team any advantages possible, even if very marginal and small. I love it. And if your owner of your NFL football team doesn't buy his quarterback this technology, then he doesn't care as much as he should. I would be surprised if within a couple of years every NFL team doesn't have this technology at their fingertips. I mean, if you're an owner and you really want to win, why not? Why would you allow another team to have an advantage that you could easily go out there and purchase as well? It's not like the Commanders and LSU have like a certain domain over this and nobody else can access it. Anybody can get it, but Jayden Daniels so far is the furthest ahead with it, which is good for my Commanders. And I don't like the fact that as a Georgia Bulldog fan, I'm seeing LSU have an advantage that we don't have yet. Kirby Smart, I'm gonna need you to go ahead and get on that. But again, just to confirm, Jayden Daniels even said it himself that they already have the technology. I believe he's already been using it in OTAs. So when he's off. And that's the thing. They don't use this during practice. This is outside of practice hours. So like the normal allotted practice hours that you do, your walkthroughs, your practices, OTAs, mini camps, when we get to training camp and things like that. No, this is outside of that. You have practice, you have film, and you have virtual reality all separately from each other. This is not on the field virtual reality. This is completely in your free time. So maybe some quarterbacks may not prefer it. Maybe some quarterback is just confident enough, arrogant enough to be like, I don't need it. So I can see that scenario happening. But Jaden Daniels clearly loves it, and he's going to take advantage of whatever he can. And again, Josh Harris bought it for him. To all of y'all that may be football fans of other teams, y'all better let y'all owner know to get up on this before it's too late. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. I really appreciate y'all, especially for my Commanders fans out there that we're taking a slight break from the Commanders, even though we still talked about the Commanders, Jaden Daniels and Josh Harris in this video. I just wanted to kind of update y'all and keep y'all aware of what's going on around the NFL that is very big. I'm surprised more people aren't talking about this. I'm surprised this isn't like breaking news everywhere right now. So make sure y'all stay tuned because I'm gonna keep y'all updated on everything going on that is major news, even if it's outside of my Commanders team itself. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. Make sure you do not leave this video without leaving a like. Make sure you hit the comment section and let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. 18 game regular seasons on the way. Every NFL team has to play an international game at least once a season on the way. I believe there's a team right now that have to play 2 separate international games this season, which is just crazy. Then you also have the first down markers going from the chain guys to now optical tracking technology. And we're going to see how that works. We'll see it as soon as this preseason coming up in a couple of months. And then also let me know how you feel about this German VR technology that helps quarterbacks develop a little bit quicker. So make sure you stay tuned for all of the information. Again, let me know in the comment section how you feel about all of that. I really appreciate y'all. I'm going to catch y'all later. I'm out.